Hello, I'm Mr. Griffin, and I'm going to make a quick video here where I show you how to convert things to simplified form using the distributive property. Now, simplified form means there are no like terms and no parentheses. You're going to want to remember that because we'll be simplifying things a lot. So, if we are simplifying this expression here, then the first thing you'll want to know is, well, how do I read this thing? What you want to say is that this is 3, and then when you see parentheses, you use the word quantity. So this is 3 times the quantity x plus 8. Later on, when you're doing your work, you're going to write the problem on your notebook. You're going to write the original equation. Then you're going to use the distributive property. So in this case, we're going to distribute the 3 to the x, so it's 3 times x, and 3 to the plus 8. I always like to think about if we were in class together and I had a stack of worksheets and I was like, hey, will you distribute these worksheets to the class for me? Well, what would you do? You'd give everybody a worksheet. And the distributive property here works the same way. Everybody in the quantity gets the thing that the quantity is being multiplied by. So the x gets a 3 and the 8 gets a 3. Once you've written out the distributive property, you can simplify, which means, in this case, we still have parentheses. It's not simplified. You need to get rid of the parentheses to simplify. So to get rid of the parentheses, 3 quantity x just becomes 3x, and 3 times the quantity of 8 is 3 times 8, which is 24. And that is our final answer. So if you were doing this as a problem, you would write these steps in your notebook, and then you would snap a picture of it in the Nearpod presentation that you are currently watching. Let's do another one. So what is the simplified form of the expression quantity 5b minus 4 times quantity negative 7? The first thing you're going to do is write the original equation. Then use the distributive property. So in this case, the negative 7 is getting distributed to the 5b, and the negative 7 is getting distributed to the negative 4. So we have 5b times quantity negative 7 minus 4 times quantity negative 7. Now we still have parentheses, so we need to simplify. Negative 7 times 5b is negative 7 times 5 is negative 35, and we still have a b. And negative 7 times negative 4 is positive 28. So our final answer is negative 35b plus positive 28. Okay, third example. So in this case, we are going to do what sum or difference is equivalent to 7x plus 2 divided by 5. Now, if I were saying this out loud, I would probably say quantity 7x plus 2 divided by 5. So there was no, and you could even write this with the parentheses on top, but that division bar implies the parentheses. So what we're going to do is really a great thing, because division can be tricky. And very fortunately, we can always rewrite division as multiplication, which is an awesome trick. Check this out. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to say, hey, quantity 7x plus 2 divided by 5 is equivalent to 1/5 times quantity 7x plus 2. Now, in order to simplify, I can first distribute. So the 1/5 goes to the 7x, and the 1/5 goes to the 2. And maybe some of you are thinking, wow, 1/5 times 7, that's like hard to do in my head. But we can just write it as 7/5, no problem. So 7/5 x plus 2/5, and that's our answer. So if you were doing this problem for your classwork, you would write out all 3 of these steps on a piece of paper, then snap a picture and post it to the Nearpod. All right, we've got another one. So what is the simplified form of negative quantity 2y minus 3x? In this case, I need to know that when there's a negative in front of the quantity, that is the same as a negative 1. So as I write this problem out, I'm going to write out negative 1 quantity 2y minus 3x, and that is the first step of my work. The next step is to distribute that negative 1. So we have negative 1 multiplied by the quantity 2y, and also negative 1 multiplied by the quantity negative 3x. Now that I have distributed the negative 1, I can simplify. Negative 1 times quantity 2y is negative 2y, and negative 1 times quantity negative 3x is positive 3x. And now I have no like terms, I have no parentheses, and so my expression is simplified. Alright, let's do another one. So here's a cool thing about the distributive property is you can use it to figure out mental math problems more easily. Some of you might be doing this already and not even know it. So in this question, we've got deli sandwiches are $4.95 each. What is the total cost of 8 sandwiches? So let's pretend you're really hungry and you're going to eat 8 sandwiches. I know, I always eat 8 sandwiches. First, think about what do you know? Sandwiches cost $4.95 each. You're going to eat 8 sandwiches. Do I have enough money to buy 8 sandwiches? So we are going to express $4.95 as a difference, also known as subtraction. The total cost of the sandwiches is 8 times $4.95. So $4.95 is almost a whole number. It's almost 5. It's a little bit less than 5. What's the difference between $4.95 and $5? Well, it's a nickel. It's 5 cents. So we can write it as like $5 minus a nickel. And now this should start to look familiar. Use the distributive property. 8 times 5 and 8 times 0.05. So now we can multiply these two things in our head. 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 times 0.05 is a very similar thing, just like 100 times less. So it's 0.04. Now 40 minus 0.4, 39.6. So you need $39.60. An excellent lunch. Okay, last one. What is the simplified form of 8x squared plus 2x squared? We have like terms. So up until now, we've been simplifying just by removing the parentheses. And in this one, we also need to combine like terms. So which terms can you combine? Any terms that have exactly the same variables with exactly the same exponents. So all the x squareds in this case. We can use the distributive property to visualize how this will work. 8x squared plus 2x squared is the same as 8 plus 2 times x squared. They both have an x squared. They've both been given that. It's been distributed to them. So we use the distributive property, then we simplify, get rid of our parentheses. Well, 8 plus 2, that's 10. And we're done. 10x squared is the simplified form of 8x squared plus 2x squared. Now, what is the simplified form of this big thing? It's pretty big. 5x minus 3 minus 3x plus 6 plus 4. Another awesome math trick, I think we're covering my 2 favorite math tricks in this lesson, is that you can rewrite subtraction as addition of negatives. And that's the best because it makes subtraction problems easier. We're going to rewrite this as a sum. We're going to use another great trick that says anytime we have subtraction, that's actually addition of a negative number. This is an excellent trick to keep in mind. I like to write out all my problems like this, almost no matter what. So now we've got 5x plus negative 3 plus negative 3x plus 6y plus 4. Next step, we're going to use the commutative property. Now, anybody who's ever ridden the bus has been a commuter, and they know that when you commute, you go from one place to another. As you just saw, some of our numbers commuted. They went to different places. When you have addition, and this is why it's so great to rewrite subtraction as addition of negatives, because when you have addition, you can write it in any order. When you have subtraction, the order matters. If you rewrite that subtraction as addition, there's so many fewer mistakes you could even possibly make. It's a wonderful trick. Okay, 5x plus negative 3x plus 6 plus negative 3 plus 4. Next, we are going to use the distributive property, kind of in reverse like we did before. So 5x plus negative 3x becomes 5 minus 3 times x. Or you could also write this as 5 plus negative 3. 6y, and this part didn't change here. Finally, we're going to simplify, because we all know that 5 minus 3 is 2, and negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Now, we don't have any parentheses. We don't have any like terms. We don't have any terms that have the same variable and the same exponent. So we're done. That should be everything you need to know in order to complete the rest of this lesson. If you have any questions, if you get stuck, if you're not sure about anything, because all of this is new to everyone, please feel free to reach out to Ms. Patrick or myself. You have our email addresses in the syllabus, and we will be happy. You could even email it to both of us and probably get a slightly quicker response. That is totally cool. So reach out if you're stuck. Get help. We're here to help you. Have a great day. Hope the rest of your classes are going really well. Hope everybody's figuring out this distance learning thing. All right, see you next time. Mr. Griffin saying goodbye.